Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Inshallah, we're now going to have some advice from Abu Usama on the subject of brotherhood.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And alhamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa na'udhu billah min shururi anfusina. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Amma ba'du. Inshallah, ikhwan, as our brother Naeem has just informed you, we're going to deal with the fiqh of the brotherhood in Islam. And we've made mention on a number of occasions how Islam is a religion and a way of life that is rich as it relates to the fiqh of the different aspects of our existence. There is fiqh connected to everything in this religion. And if a person was to comprehend the fiqh of these issues, you'll find that he'll be, inshallah, an effective student of knowledge. He'll be an effective Muslim, successful Muslim. There is fiqh in the language of the Arabs. Naeem said some of the brothers, they didn't complain, but they were asking that you have to translate the words because you use so many words in Arabic. That's an ongoing criticism. We get lost and we forget. And we'll try to do our best. But again, ikhwan, it is important, it is imperative that the Arabic language is the key. And depending upon your level of sincerity and ijtihad and hard work, if you get the Arabic language, the pearls and the treasures of the books of Islam will be open to you. So the language of the Arabs, the language of the Quran, it has some fiqh in it. If we understand the fiqh of the language, it helps the individual to comprehend and understand the ayahs of the Quran. This issue of brotherhood is the same case. We're all brothers one to another, but the brotherhood that we have, many times we don't understand what is the reality of the brotherhood in Islam, and as a result of that, we have a lot of the issues that are going on between ourselves. Issues of su'adhan, having bad opinions of each other, making ghiba, al-kibr, being arrogant, al-ihana, looking down upon brothers and feeling that because of whatever frivolous dunya reason, he's lesser than us or he's not worthy of some of the rights that we give to other people or some of the rights that we expect for ourselves. So we're going to give you a very easy, comprehensive class, inshallah, about this fiqh of the al-akhuwa in al-Islam. Asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his tawfiq, and also asking him for the ability to apply into practice, to understand what is going to be put forth, inshallah. When we talk about the brotherhood of al-Islam, again, we go back to the issue of the minhaj of Islam, the proper methodology. And we have to look at those people who are our example. And we look at how they showed and exemplified the true meaning of al-akhuwa in al-Islam. You and I, we are not the examples that should be looked at and taken for people who want to know how to practice brotherhood. But instead, we look at those companions of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam who were not unlike us. They were not unlike us, in that we have different tongues, languages, colors. We come from different places. That was the same situation with them. We have Bilal ibn Rabah al-Habashi. We have Suhaib al-Rumi, a Roman. We have Salman al-Farisi, a Persian. Despite these differences in their jinsiyah and where they came from, they exemplified and showed to us the reality of this brotherhood. We even have a companion that you all know about, a scholar from the scholars of the Jews, Abdullah ibn Salam, radiyallahu anhu. He accepted the religion of al-Islam. And our mother, Safiya, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she was a Yahudiya prior to accepting al-Islam. And Allah Ta'ala said about the Jews in the Quran, لَتَجِدَنَّ أَشَدَّ النَّاسِ عَدَاوَةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الْيَهُودَ وَالَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا. You will find those people who have the strongest enmity and hatred towards the people who believe. They are the Jews and the mushrikun. But when Abdullah ibn Salam embraced the religion of Islam, his being a Jew was not a reason that he was not embraced and pulled into the fold of this concept of the brotherhood of Islam. And that's what the adawa of the Jews that we know. It has been explained in perfect detail of the Quran how they are. But those people who embraced Islam from the Jews, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam taught the companions how to accept those people. We have the situation with the Ansar. The Ansar, they constituted two main tribes, Al-Aws wal-Khazraj. In the times of Al-Jahiliyyah, before Al-Islam, they used to have massive problems between themselves over things that no one would consider to be worthy of fighting for. They would fight each other for hundreds of years. They had a fight for 200 years over a horse race that one of them lost back in the days of Al-Jahiliyyah. They fought each other. They would come together for their parties, and when they come together, they start drinking their khamr. One of the poets would stand up and he'll start making poetry about the horse race, and lo and behold, they're fighting each other. And then the fight will last a month, the following year 2 months, the following year they may take a break, the following year the same things happen, and on and on and on. Rasulullah came to those people, the Ansar of Al-Madinah, and he put between them this ta'leef of their qulub, as Allah mentioned in the Quran, وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذْ كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. Remember the favor of Allah upon you when you were enemies one to another, and then Allah brought your hearts together and you became brothers. And another very important point, and this is critical, ikhwan, and that is, there is nothing that can combine the hearts of the people and unite the hearts and the minds of the people and make them true brothers except the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah told the Messenger of Allah in the Quran, وَلَوْ أَنفَقْتَ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا مَا أَلَّفْتَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِهِمْ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ أَلَّفَ بَيْنَهُمْ. Ya Muhammad, if you were to spend all of the money in the earth, all of the money that's hidden under the earth, when the Dajjal comes, he's going to tell it to come out, that great massive treasure that's hidden in the Euphrates River from the signs of the hour, the people will come to that and they'll know this hadith, as you all will hear, that the Euphrates will throw forth a great treasure. For every 100 people who come to this treasure, they're going to fight. 99 will be killed in the process, and only one will be remaining alive. Despite the fact that the people know the hadith and they know about what's going to happen, everyone is going to say, لَعَلِّي أَنَا الَّذِي يَنْجِي. You will say, I hope or I think I'm the one who's going to be that one who doesn't die or get killed from the greed of the people. So Allah told Rasulullah in the Quran, if you were to spend all of the money in the earth, you would not have been able to bring the hearts of these people together. But Allah brought their hearts together. Meaning what? That the deen of Allah is the only thing that can unite the people. The fact that we get behind that iman and we're united with his movements. We don't precede him. We get under the authority of the Khalifa or the leader of the Muslims. We worship one ilah. We have one kitab. We have one qibla. All of these issues, the akhuwa in al-Islam, loving for your brother what you love for yourself, and what has been legislated in this bab, these are the things that unite the people. As for the money, wallahi, money does not unite people. As for where you come from, we've seen recently that people's colors and their jinsiyah, it does not unite the people. Look at this man, Saddam Hussein. Nasallallahu al-afi wa salama. The dawah of Saddam Hussein is that he's a Ba'athi, and the Ba'athi dawah is a dawah in which they believe that the Arab people, they're better than everyone else. Pan-Arabism. They believe that the Arab who is a Jew is better than the Muslim who is a non-Arab. So what happened to Saddam's Pan-Arabism when his brothers in the Arab world allowed the enemies of al-Islam to use their bases, to use their airspace, to use all of their resources in order to get the man? Where was the brotherhood of the Arabs? So the money, where you come from, geography, all of those issues, your language, all of those issues. When it really comes down to the crunch, when it's crunch time, you will find the people forsaking you if that's what your brotherhood is predicated upon and built upon. Whereas, if people are Muslims and they're practicing this religion and they're practicing this concept of brotherhood, when the going gets tough, you can rest assured that your brother is not going to forsake you. As we saw with the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. الذين قال لهم الناس إن الناس قد جمعوا لكم فاخشوهم فزادهم إيمانا وقالوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. Allah revealed this ayat in the incident of Surah Al-Ahzab, in the incident of the Ahzab, when all of the Arabs came together in order to extinguish the light of al-Islam. The first time in the history of the Arabs who cannot agree on anything. If the guy didn't like you, he'll break the bay'ah and he'll leave you alone. They couldn't agree on anything. But for the first time in their history, they all decided to come together to extinguish the light of al-Islam. So Allah revealed this ayat showing the quwwah of the iman and the brotherhood of the Muslims. And He said in that ayat, those people, the companions, when the people said to them, the Jews of Medina, the troublemakers from the munafiqeen, they said to the companions, Inna an-nas qad jama'u lakum. All of the people have come together in the Ahzab to get you. Allah Ta'ala said that did nothing but increase them iman. And they said, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Because we have this iman and we have this deen and we have each other, so we're with the Hablul Mateen that will allow us to defeat these people. So it is this akhuwa of al-Islam, ikhwan, that we want to explain to you in the hopes that we will learn how to practice these issues again, or how to practice these issues in our lives. The scholars of al-Islam, ikhwan, after making al-istiqra, after reading the book of Allah, from the beginning to the end, that process is called al-istiqra, from qara'a, the word qara'a, iqra, istiqra, and the wazn of istaf'ala. Istiqra means that you read something from the beginning to the end, and then after reading it all, you extract a benefit. Like the 3 levels of a tawheed. There's no ayat in the Quran that tells us tawheed al-uluhiyya, wa-rububiyyah, wal-asma wa-sifat. But when you read the Quran from the beginning to the end, those are the 3 concepts that come out. Similarly, as it relates to the brotherhood of al-Islam, when you look at the Quran, the scholars, after making this istiqra, they said that al-Islam, the brotherhood, it has 3 arkan, 3 pillars that the brotherhood is built upon. And the pillar, as you all know, it is the most important aspect of any structure. The arkan of al-Islam are 5. The arkan of al-Iman, they're 6. If one of the rukn of the arkan of Iman or Islam is lost, weak, then the person's Islam and his Iman is also going to be lost or weak. So these 3 arkan are the most important aspects of this akhuwa. And they get these arkan from Surah At-Tawbah. The first dalil is an ayat that is a tremendous ayat in the Quran, known as Ayatul Sayf. Ayatul Sayf, the ayat of the sword. A little information, trivia information, if you want to have these trivia games that we play with our children, our wives, with each other when we're traveling. A trivia question: which ayat of the Quran abrogated more ayat than any other ayat? The jawab, ayatul Sayf. Prior to ayatul Sayf being revealed, Allah ordered Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be patient, to overlook them, to not fight them, don't engage them, be patient, ask for their forgiveness, continue to give dawah, and on and on and on. But when the ayat of as-Sayf came down, that was the ayat that abrogated all of those ayats about being patient and holding back and not fighting the kuffar. In ayat as-Sayf, يقول الله عز وجل: فإذا انسلخ الأشهر الحرم فاقتلوا المشركين حيث وجدتموهم وخذوهم واحصروا لهم واقعدوا لهم كل مرصد فإن تابوا وأقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة فخلوا سبيلهم. Allah told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if the sacred months, the 4 sacred months, if they pass by, the months where you can't kill and fight people unless they kill and fight you, but don't take the initiative. If the 4 sacred months, if they pass by, then kill the mushrikeen wherever you find them. Kill them and seize them and lie in wait for them on every roadway. But if they make tawbah and they establish the salah and they give the zakat, then leave their way. So Allah Ta'ala gave the amin, or the safety and the security, to the mushrikeen when they made tawbah, when they made salah, and when they gave the zakat. In another ayat, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He said, فَإِن تَابُوا وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ فَإِخْوَانَكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ. The first ayat is ayat number 5. The second ayat is ayat number 11 from Surah At-Tawbah, Surah Al-Bara. Allah said in the second ayat, if they make tawbah and they establish the salah and they give the zakat, فَإِخْوَانُكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ, then they are your brothers in the religion. So these ayats establish these 3 arkan, that if an individual makes the tawbah and he establishes the salah and he gives a zakat, then he has to be embraced as your brother in the religion. We have to briefly explain this, ikhwan, so that we can shed light on the importance of these 3 issues. These 3 arkan of our brotherhood. The man makes tawbah, he's our brother. He established the salah, he's our brother. He gives the zakat, he's our brother. Does that mean that Hajj and Siyam is not a part of that? Doesn't mean that. But these three things are the arkan that have been mentioned and designated by Allah Azza wa Jal, Al-Hakim Al-Jabbar. What is the meaning of if they make tawbah? Ikhwan, pay attention. What is the meaning if they make tawbah? Tawbah consists of 2 things. One relates to the kuffar who make tawbah, and the second one relates to the Muslim who makes tawbah. The first tawbah is the tawbah of the kuffar. If a kafir embraces the religion of al-Islam, he's your brother. If he was a white man, if he was a Jew, if he was George Bush, if he was Margaret Thatcher, if he was any kafir who used to kill the Muslims, the guy in Israel right now, if he announces his Islam after doing all that he's done to the Muslims in Palestine, we have to embrace him as our brother because he made tawbah. Allah's Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-Islamu yajubbu ma kana qablu. Islam wipes away what came before it. So whatever the individual did prior to Islam, he killed these many people, 99 people, and then another one. But he made that tawbah, he embraced Islam. We have to accept him as a Muslim. The first tawbah is the tawbah of the kuffar. If a kafir embraces the religion of al-Islam, he's your brother. If he was a white man, if he was a Jew, if he was George Bush, if he was Margaret Thatcher, if he was any kafir who used to kill the Muslims, the guy in Israel right now, if he announces his Islam after doing all that he's done to the Muslims in Palestine, we have to embrace him as our brother because he made tawbah. Allah's Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-Islamu yajubbu ma kana qablu. Islam wipes away what came before it. So whatever the individual did prior to Islam, he killed these many people, 99 people, and then another one. But he made that tawbah, he embraced Islam. We have to accept him as a Muslim. Unfortunately, in our societies in America, here in Europe, we grow up hating people, having racism towards people. We grew up in an extremely racist environment. Part of our religion was hating white people, and they hated us as well. You come to the religion of al-Islam and it takes some time to detox and to get that stuff out of your head. And to refrain from referring to white people with derogatory terms. Crackers, white boys, and they call us as well niggers and so forth and so on. That's in Islam. Sometimes a person says it without meaning it. In the religion of al-Islam, once the man makes tawbah, ilallah, he makes tawbah, we have to look at him as being our brother in the religion. I recall being in the Prophet's Masjid, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the month of Ramadan, and if anyone was there in Ramadan, you know that it is a special situation. We were sitting at one of the many ma'idas that the Muslims set out for themselves with the zamzam water and the bread and the za'faran and all of that stuff. So as we were reading the Quran, waiting for Salat al-Maghrib to come, it was only a few minutes away, an old brother, he started to make a ta'aruf. Ana fulan ibn fulan, Abu fulan. Who are you, akhi? This guy would say, Ana fulan ibn fulan, and I'm from this place, and I'm from that place, and I'm from that place. When they came to me, I'm saying, I'm Abu Usama, Khalifa Dhahabi. They said, where you from? They knew my language wasn't from the outside. I said, I'm from America. The brother looked at me and said, Anta Muslim? Yeah, I'm in Rasulullah's masjid in the month of Ramadan, waiting for the sun to go down. You ask me, am I a Muslim? I'm Muslim. You think I'm doing here? He didn't mean that, but his thing was, I'm from America, how can an American be a Muslim? As I was breaking my fast, every time I looked up, he had that look on his face. Yeah, if the kafir makes tawbah, he embraces al-Islam, we accept him as our brother. And we give that example of the Prime Minister of Israel, George Bush, the leader here. A lot of evil has been done by these people to our brothers and to our religion. If one of them embraces the deen of Islam, we accept him wholeheartedly as our brother. As it relates to the Muslim, we know of a Muslim who committed zina. We know of a Muslim who smoked crack. We know of a Muslim who left salat, didn't wear hijab. We know a Muslim who's doing something kabira from the kaba'ir, and then he makes tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prior to his tawbah, we boycotted him. Prior to his tawbah, we had a problem with visiting him and giving him salams. Prior to his tawbah, there was something between us and him because of the crime that he committed. But that man makes tawbah with his conditions. And after that tawbah, to the best of our ability, it appears that he's sincere. We have to embrace him back into the fold of the brotherhood. And we can't boycott him anymore. And we can't have between us and him a problem. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم التائب من الذنب كمن لا ذنب له. The one who made tawbah from a sin is like the one who has no sin at all. So how are we going to continue to ostracize him and alienate him? And he made tawbah ilallah. So that brings us to this question right now. Those of us who have a problem with another brother for some problem that has transpired between us, and it has existed for over 3 days, you're not understanding the concept of al-akhuwa in al-Islam. The man made tawbah, give him a break, bring him back into the fold of the religion. So that's how we understand that first aspect, a tawbah for the mushrik and a tawbah for the Muslim. Once they make tawbah, we start giving them their rights. As it relates to a salat, ikhwan, that ayat of the Quran, if they make tawbah and establish salat and they give the zakat, فَإِخْوَانَكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ, the Hanabila, Al-Shaykh Abdul Aziz ibn Baz, Al-Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen, Al-Imam Ahmed, in a riwayah to him, and other people from the Hanabila, the Hanbali madhab, they use that ayah from Surah At-Tawbah to prove if a man leaves salah, he's a kafir. Because the ayah said, whoever makes tawbah, establishes the salah, gives the zakat, then he's your brother in the deen. They use that ayah to prove if a man is not praying, whether it's out of negligence or he says I don't have to pray, or praying is haram or something, he's a kafir. We don't agree with that position, even though it has its dalil, but it is marju'. Allah said, the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, العهد الذي بيننا وبينهم الصلاة من تركها فقد كفر. The ahd, the difference, the contract, the distinguishing factor, the difference between us and them is the salah. So whoever leaves it, فقد كفر, he has disbelieved. If he leaves the salah, being negligent, lazy, then he's fallen into a kabira from the kaba'ir. But if he makes istihlal and he says, I don't have to pray, then he's a kafir. He goes outside of the religion of al-Islam. So here, if a person establishes this prayer, he becomes a Muslim. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم من استقبل قبلتنا وصلى صلاتنا وأكل ذبيحتنا فله ما للمسلمين وعليه ما عليهم. Whoever faces our qibla and he prays our salah and he eats our dhabiha, the way we eat, he eats and practices that. Whoever does this, then he has rights. The Muslims have rights over him and he has rights over them. So that establishes clearly that once the salat is established by the Muslim, then this is a proof of his iman. The fact that he will drop down and he will prostrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is from the awdah, from the clearest manifestations of his iman in most cases. So he has to establish the salat. As for the zakat, ikhwan, you know, many places in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala has ordered us to establish the salah, and with that comes the zakat. They go hand in hand in so many ayats of the Quran. وَجَاهِدُوا فِي اللَّهِ حَقَّ جِهَادِهِ هُوَ اجْتَبَاكُمْ وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ إِبْرَاهِيمَ هُوَ سَمَّاكُمُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَفِي هَذَا ليكون الرسول شهيدا عليكم وتكونوا شهداء على الناس فأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة. So many ayahs of the Quran, zakat and salat come together. They are together. As it relates to this brotherhood, everyone knows historically that the Khalifa of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Siddiq al-Awwal of this ummah, Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, he took over after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam after his death, and he ruled for 2 years and a few months. Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, he came at a critical time. One of the things that happened during his time that established him as the most knowledgeable and the best of the companions was the incident of the murtaddeen, those people who apostated, they made ridda. Ikhwan, pay attention. These people who apostated during the time of Abu Bakr, they did not say, we disbelieve in Allah. They did not say, we're not going to make salah. They did not say, one of us is the messenger of Allah. They did not say, we are people who are more wiser than Rasulullah. We're going to take the Bible to learn from the Bible. They didn't say that. They believed in all aspects of al-Islam. All they said was, Since Rasulullah died, we're not giving any zakat anymore. We're keeping our money because we need our money. We're not going to render the zakat to him as we used to do with Rasulullah. We want our money. Abu Bakr said, Wallahi, I'm going to fight him. All of the companions came together. Abu Bakr is the most wisest, the most knowledgeable, and the best from amongst them. But despite that, they don't have to follow his position if he doesn't present the dalil. It is not a dalil, Ya Abu Bakr. Anta afdal minna, Ya Abu Bakr. How many times did Rasulullah say, Jittu wa ja'a Abu Bakr wa Umar. Dhahabtu wa dhahaba Abu Bakr wa Umar. Amantu wa amana Abu Bakr wa Umar. How many times we have? All the time we hear that. But his statements alone, not a dalil in the religion. So they took him to task. Abu Bakr, how can you fight people who say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah? They're doing everything in the religion. They're just sinning by not giving the zakat. Abu Bakr said, Wallahi, I will fight anyone who withholds from me the uqal, just the piece that ties up the camel's leg to keep him from moving. If they used to give that to Rasulullah and they refuse to give it to me, I'm going to fight them. If they give me the camel for zakat, but they hold back the iqal that ties his leg up, I'm going to deal with them because they have to give us even the iqal. That's the deen of Islam. So they were called the murtaddeen. When they didn't give the zakat, they're not our brothers. We're going to fight them. Ikhwan, a very important point as it relates to the murtaddeen. The murtaddun, they were not the people of Medina. They were not the people of Mecca. The people of Medina, they are in the masjid of Rasulullah and they're around the ulama of Rasulullah. They're with all of those ulama getting trained and they're learning. The people in Mecca, they were also around the ulama in Mecca. Abdullah bin Abbas and other than him. The murtaddun, they were the people who lived far away in the Badia, in the desert. Which teaches us something. When you live far away from the markaz of the Muslims and the masjid of the Muslim and the Muslim population at a time when you should not practice uzla, there's a time when we should break off from the people. Other than that time, you should connect yourself to the people. As he says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-mu'min alladhi yukhalitu an-nas wa yasbiru ala adahum khayru min al-mu'min alladhi la yukhalitu an-nas wa la yasbir ala adahum. The believer who mixes with the people and he's patient with their annoyances, he's better than the believer who doesn't mix with the people and he's not patient with their annoyances. Wallahi, when we mix with each other, as Sulaiman said, Dawood said, we're going to annoy each other. The man he makes salah, Al-Imam Al-A'mash. Al-Imam Al-A'mash, ikhwan, his name is Sulaiman ibn Mihran. He's one of the tremendous scholars of Al-Islam. They say that Al-A'mash was the first person to start really putting together the hadith in the place that he came from. Al-Imam Al-A'mash. They describe him as being a bit anti-sociable because he didn't like dealing with the people. Al-Imam A'mash had a dog that he used to put in the front of his door, in his door. When the people want to come to get the hadith, his dog would start barking and keep the people away. The people came one time, Al-Imam Al-A'mash was crying. They asked him, why are you crying? He said, the one who used to order with the ma'ruf and prevent the munkar, he has died. My dog died, prevent me from the people. He used to make the salah, and after the salah he made the dhikr. He was a man who was really on this dhikr. People would come to him, we came all the way from the other side of the dunya, we want to ask you about this hadith. Al-Imam A'mash would just look at the people and just continue to make the dhikr, as if to say, how can you interrupt the man after he's doing his salah and then he makes his dhikr? So we're going to get annoyed and we're going to annoy people when we come together with them. But that annoyance, we just have to be patient with it. So the murtaddun, those people who apostated, they were the people who lived in the desert, in the Badia. They were far away, and when you live far away, you're going to have problems. Man bada jafa. Rasulullah said, whoever lives in the Badia, in the desert, far away from the people, he's going to be rough, he's going to be coarse. So that's how we understand very briefly those three arkan of the Akhuwa of al-Islam. At-Tawbah, establishing the Salah. In addition to that, giving the Zakat. After that, the Brotherhood of al-Islam, it has levels. 3 levels. We'll start off with the lowest level. The lowest level that everyone has to be upon. Everyone has to be upon. Ikhwan, from the other. And the person who did it, he doesn't mean it. He comes with sincerity, inshallah. From the other that we suffer from is this example, a real living example, is we leave after everyone make efforts. You brothers remained in the class, you prayed Maghrib, and then I gave a talk, you remained and you stayed and you made Isha and you left. That is tough. Everyone is making jihad and effort. I left the masjid yesterday, a brother who I never met before, my brother, Akhi Fillah, he's smaller than me, younger than me, he came up to me. Assalamu alaikum akhi, what's going on? He said, look, I went over to that other place and they said that they are talking about you, that we shouldn't come here. Anta mutakallam fi. You know, they talking about you. What are they saying? They told me to ask you, what are they saying about you? I said, akhi, I didn't want to make tamfir of the brother. This is my brother. And he seemed sincere and he seemed nice. But I couldn't help to sit there, and in my mind, voices were going off in my head. I had light bulbs here, light bulbs there. I said, akhi, what sense does that make? Someone says that I'm mutakallam fiya. Go ask him what is being said. Let them tell you what's being said, and then come to me and I'll tell you what I believe. And I'll tell you what my position is. But this is the nonsense that we're dealing with right now. You ask one of them, what's being said? Such and such is being said. What's the dalil? I don't know. Then akhi, busy yourself with learning about the arkan of the Brotherhood of al-Islam, the tajweed of the Quran, the 40 hadith of al-Imam al-Nawawi, the usul al-sunnah of al-Imam Ahmed. That's going to be more beneficial to you. So it is the other. As it relates to the lowest level of the brotherhood that everyone has to be upon, the highest level is up to you. But the lowest level, every single brother and sister, we have to be upon this level of brotherhood. And that is that we don't make adha, that we don't annoy each other. We don't annoy each other to the best of our ability. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah At-Tawbah, Surah Al-Ahzab, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ بِغَيْرِ مَا اكْتَسَبُوا فَقَدْ احْتَمَلُوا بُهْتَانًا وَإِثْمًا مُبِينًا. Those people who make adha and they annoy the believing men and the believing women, and they accuse them of what they didn't do, they have carried on themselves a buhtan, that is a thing, and an ithm that is great. That is mubin. This ayat was revealed because of our mother, Abdullah al-Humayra bintu Siddiq radiyallahu anhuma, when the people said that she committed zina, coming into al-Medina late at night with Safwan ibn Mu'attal radiyallahu anhu. Allah revealed that. You people are making adha to Rasulullah by saying that about his wife, to Aisha by saying that about her, to her father Abu Bakr, to the believers who love her and look at her as their mother. النبي أولى بالمؤمنين من أنفسهم وأزواجه أمهاتهم. They are our mothers. How would one of you feel if someone came and said, your mother's a zania, simply because your mother was the last one to leave the grocery store? Your mother's a zania because I saw her leaving the grocery store and then the owner came out and closed the door. You're going to have a big problem with that. So here, this ayat was revealed. Concerning the adha of the believers, ikhwan, the believers have different levels. And adha to certain people is not like the adha to other people. Making adha to Rasulullah is not like making adha to me. making adha to our elders is not like making adha to each other. Making adha to the yatim, the orphan, is not like making adha to the non-orphan. When the people say this about Aisha, wallahi, they're making adha to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That your wife, you didn't have enough rajula and enough hikmah and enough basira and enough farasa to know that this woman is not a woman who is salihah and she falls into khiyana. When those people say that the companions disbelieved after Rasulullah except 5 or 6, that's other to Rasulullah, because what you're saying is he didn't know who was around him. Muawiyah, he chose to write down the revelation. Muawiyah is a non-Muslim. He became a kafir, a murtad. Rasulullah allow a murtad to write the revelation? You're making other to Rasulullah before it even hits that individual. From the practical real life examples of other between us is the husband who smokes cigarettes and then he wants to be affectionate to his wife or his children. That's other. Your breath smells like cigarettes and that's harmful. Who would want to live with an individual who his breath smells of cigarette smoke? Always he has bad breath, stinky breath. And the smoke from the cigarettes. Those of us who used to live in Al-Medina, or if you visited Al-Medina, if you want to travel from Al-Medina to Mecca, we can all go and get a GMC, a big GMC. What do you guys call it? You know, Bronco, those big ones. A what? A what?
4x4.
I don't know, the big one, the big one. You don't see them here. It probably costs a bundle to put the petrol in those here. Anyway, it's 10 of us, so we decide we'll pay 50 riyals so we can have our own. Because if you share with the Muslims who come to the place where you rent it randomly, if it's 3 of us and 7 Muslims, we're in our ihram and we're going 3.5 hours, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika labbaik, and then suddenly we're smelling the smoke. Ya akhi, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, what are you doing? And then we start to fight each other because they're killing us with the smoke. From the beginning of the trip to the end of the trip. The Muslims are the biggest smokers. On our airplanes, you can smoke. Jordanian airline, Egypt Air, on our planes, you can smoke. But on the airplanes of the kuffar, the restaurants of the kuffar, you can't smoke. So that's adha. 2 people, they come from the Arab world. They come from a Muslim country and they come to America and they want to study in the university. And the university where we are is very expensive, Bradley University. You want to be a muhandis? You go to NJIT, you go to MIT, or you go to Bradley University. Costs a lot of money. So we decide that we're going to put our monies together and we rent a 2-bedroom apartment. When we become roommates, one of the brothers, he wants to bring a dog into the home. So the dog is always jumping on the other brother. The dog is always in his clothes. The dog is urinating akramakumullah on the rug, on the carpet where we pray. Akhi, you have to get rid of the dog. Don't you know the dog is man's best friend? That's what the brother said to the Muslim brother. Ya akhi, that's adha. The other brother, he brings his girlfriend. He has a girlfriend and she comes to visit. So we don't know which dog is akhbath. All of that is adha, ikhwan. So the lowest level is not to make adha to each other. I don't want you worrying about my business, so I shouldn't worry about your business. Why are you sitting with the brother asking, how can he afford more than one wife? What is he doing? Why is that your business? As I don't want you to worry about my business, I don't worry about your business. Don't make ghib of me, I don't make ghib of you. And on and on and on and on. So this is wajib upon all of us. Rasulullah told the individual who has nothing to offer, he said, if you don't have anything to offer, then do the ma'ruf by holding your evil from the people. You always have those people on the fringes, ikhwan, they're on the sidelines, and all they do is criticize. Well, they shouldn't put the door right there, the door should have been over there. And they shouldn't have spent that much money, they should have. But what are you doing? He's not doing anything. Well, the administration are there like this, and they shouldn't have done this. Yahi, what are you doing other than making other and criticizing? Do good by being quiet. If you believe in Allah on the last day, do good by being quiet. That's the least you can do. So the lowest level is al-adha. From the adha is during the salah, not turning off the cell phone. Especially in light of the fact that you brothers have an imam. Wallahi, I was making wudu yesterday and I heard that recitation and I looked up and I said, well, subhanallah. The brothers at this masjid have an imam like that, mashallah. When I came out and he started to read إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا, I actually felt, why didn't he read from a longer surah? Rasulullah used to tell Bilal, Ya Bilal, adhin wa arihna bis salat. Bilal, make the adhan and make us comfortable because we're about to pray. He used to find comfort in the salah. He told the people, وَجُعِلَتْ الصَّلَاةُ قُرُّةُ عَيْنِي. The prayer has been made a cooler of my eye. If that brother reads the way he reads, mashallah, then how was the recitation of Rasulullah? Can you imagine praying behind Rasulullah? I was a new student in Medina. I didn't know the difference between alif, ba, ta, jim. If they would have fallen on my head out of the sky, I wouldn't have known that's an alif or ba, ta. I used to pray behind the imams of the haram. Ibrahim Akhdar for Fajr. Wallahi, I didn't know what he was saying, but I used to cry because his voice was so nice, and I was unmarried and I needed to get married, and only Allah was going to help me. So I used to feel sorry for myself, and I used to listen to that recitation, and I said, Wallahi, standing behind Rasulullah, how would it be? And he told the ummah, استقرئوا القرآن من أربعة من ابن مسعود وأبي بن كعب ومعاذ بن جبل وسالم مولى حذيفة. Take the Quran from 4 people. The first one he mentioned, Ibn Mas'ud. The fact that he mentioned him first, from the fiqh of the language, when something is mentioned first in the Quran and the Sunnah, usually it's more important. It's afdal and a'la and asma. The first one he mentioned, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. And take it from Ubay ibn Ka'b, and take it from Mu'adh ibn Jabal, who will come Yawm al-Qiyamah, and all of the ulama of the dunya will be raised up, and they will have their jama'at. Mu'adh ibn Jabal will be in front of them with the flag, because he will be the imam of the ulama of the dunya. And the fourth one, Salim, the Mawla of Hudhayfa. They describe their recitation as being the recitation that will cause the heart to become soft. So al-adha is being in a masjid where you have an imam like that, and then the telephone goes off. The person is in his salah and he's thinking and contemplating and he's considering, and he says, okay, Rasulullah told us when you're going to pray, he said, stand up and extinguish the fire that you created for yourself. From our actions and deeds, we created a fire. We're going to go to the hellfire if we don't get it together. The salat that you pray is one of the ways that you can extinguish that fire. So when a person stands up to pray, that gives them incentive to be really in this prayer. But he hears the telephone. And then the shaitan, his name is Khanzab. His job is just to make tashwish on the musalli. He comes and now he starts to say, after the telephone, you left your lights on in the car. We have to get back because the dinner is getting ready. And it's fitna. So we have to all be on this level of our brotherhood. The second level is a bit higher, and a bit more difficult to practice, and that is loving for your brother what you love for yourself. The Prophet, he says, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, la yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsihi min al-khayr. None of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. I don't want you to make ghiba of me, so I shouldn't make ghiba of you. I don't want you. You don't know me. I don't want you, before meeting me and getting to know me, I don't want you to have su'a dhan. I'm after your money. I don't want you to think like that. So I shouldn't think like that about you. If we don't have this, we don't have complete iman. La yu'minu ahadukum. None of you believes. Hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsihi. So if you want the complete iman, part of being a mu'min is to love for your brother what you love for yourself. A Muslim, he may not love for his brother what he loves for himself. This is the iman in al-Islam. Prophet, he says, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, kun wara'an takun a'bad al-nas. وكن قنعا تكون أشكر الناس وأحب للناس ما تحب لنفسك تكون مؤمنا. Have wara, awareness. You will be the one who is the most abid, the most abid. You're the real abid, the real slave. Have some wara. Oh, I doubt that, so I'm going to leave it alone. I don't think that's a good thing, so I'm going to leave it alone. This is al-wara. What do you think about what Sheikh so-and-so said about Sheikh so-and-so? Wallahi, that's not going to benefit me, so I don't think anything. I don't have anything to say. That's wara. Even if I have an opinion, I'm not going to say it because I don't want my word to go here and there, and I don't want to be a fitna for you, and I don't want to become a part of a situation. That's al-wara. If you have a wara, takun a'bad al-nas, you'll be the one who's the most abid. And have qina', you will be the most thankful. Al-qina' is when you're satisfied with what you have. You're satisfied. You want to be masturul hal. You want your aura, all I want is my aura to be covered. My thobe, it can come to the half of my sock, or it can go a little below that. But I don't need a thobe that drags all the way 20 feet behind me. I want more. Whatever you have, if you are content, then you are really okay. ليس الغنى عن كثرة العرض ولكن الغنى غنى النفس. It is not being rich, having a lot of money, nice car, big house. But being rich is being content with what you have. Because the nature of Ibn Adam, as the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in this hadith al-Qudsi, that Allah said, "Inna anzalna al-mal li'iqam as-salat wa ita' az-zakat. Wa in ibn Adam law anna lahu wadan la ahabba an yakun lahu thanin wa law kana lahu thanin la ahabba an yakun lahuma thalith. ولا يملأ جوف ابن آدم إلا التراب ويتوب الله على من تاب." Pay attention to this hadith, ikhwan. The hadith of Qudsi said, verily, he said, verily, Allah said, verily we sent the money down. You all have some pounds in your pocket. If we put it all together, we have 2,000 pounds or more. Everyone who's sitting here, you have money in your pocket. Allah said, we gave you this money that you have so that you can establish the salah and so that you can give the zakat. That's what the money is for. To build the masjid, to eat, to come, to be able to pray, to get a car, so that you can establish the salah, establish your deen. You use that money so that you can get married. وَمَنْ تَزَوَّجَ فَقَدْ اسْتَكْمَلَ نِصْفَ إِيمَانٍ فَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهَ فِي الشَّطْرِ الْبَاقِي. Whoever gets married, he completed half of his religion, his iman. So let him feel on the other half. He needs money to get married. We revealed and we gave you this money for the establishment of the salah and to give the zakat. We didn't give you the money to worship the money. Ta'isa abdul dinar wa abdul dirham wa abdul qatifa. They are destroyed. The one who worships the dinar and the dirham and his clothes. And he said in that hadith, and if Ibn Adam was given a volley, he would want a second volley. And if he was given a second volley, he wants a third volley. And nothing is going to fill up the body of Ibn Adam except dirt. And Allah will forgive whoever makes tawbah. So as it relates to the issue, ikhwan, of loving for your brother what you love for yourself, this is the second level. The third level and the highest level is a concept that we want to share with you, a new word, and it is called al-ithar. Al-ithar. Abid. Aina akhi abid. Al-ithar. Alif lam. Alif lam of ta'rif. Alif lam, and then alif, and then the ya, and then the tha, and then the alif, and then the ra. Al-ithar. Al-ithar, ikhwan, it means, you guys have to learn this word. You know what taqwa, masjid, hijab, jilbab, lihya, kitab, qalam, shams, nur, hidayah, rasul, sahabi. You know all of those words. Add this to your Arabic vocabulary. Al-ithar. Al-ithar means to give precedence or preference to your brother over yourself. You have a haq, you have the right to this thing. You have the right to drink it. You pour it for yourself and you have the right to drink it. But you make ithar and you say tafaddal. When Allah mentioned about the muhajirin and the ansar, He said in the Quran about them, وَالَّذِينَ تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ يُحِبُّونَ مَنْ هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِمْ ولا يجدون في صدورهم حاجة مما أوتوا ويؤثرون على أنفسهم ولو كان بهم خصاصة ومن يوق شح نفسه فأولئك هم المفلحون. Allah praised the Ansar, the Muhajirin, and then He mentioned these people from the Ansar. He said about the Ansar, and those people who lived in Medina, and they believed before, many of them in Mecca, and they believed. They love those people who make hijrah to them. And they do not find anything in their chest against them from what they have been given. They're from Quraysh. Rasulullah said about Quraysh, Al-Umara fi Quraysh wal-Wuzara fi al-Ansar. They have to be the Umara. When Rasulullah died, Al-Ansar came together and they were going to choose Sa'd ibn Ubadah or Sa'd ibn Mu'adh as their leader. Abu Bakr, the most knowledgeable one, with Umar and the rest of them, they went. Abu Bakr said, you can't do that. Rasulullah said, Al-Umara Quraysh wal-Wuzara al-Ansar. You can't be the Umara. That's what Allah gave them. When they used to make jihad, Rasulullah would give a lot to the Muhajirin and wouldn't give a lot to them. So Allah said in the Quran, and those people who lived in Medina, they love the people who make hijrah to them. And they do not have anything in their hearts for what they were given. وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ. And they give them preference to have 2 wives. You choose whichever one you want. What we'll do is, I have 2 wives, the one who can't cook, the one who has a long lisan, the one who her family gives me all the trouble. I'll say, hey, you get her. She's a good sister. وَفَقَكَ اللَّهُ. That's the ithar of our companions, ya ikhwan. The companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. The last thing, ikhwan, in the last 2 minutes concerning the Brotherhood of Al-Islam. The Brotherhood of Al-Islam, it has huquq, rights. We have rights over each other. Arkan, 3. The darajat, 3. The arkan of the Brotherhood, 6. And they come to us from the hadith حق المسلم على المسلم ست إذا لقيته فسلم عليه وإذا دعاك فأجبه وإذا استنصحك فانصح له وإذا عطس ثم حمد الله فشمته وإذا مرض فعده وإذا مات فاتبعه. The rights of a Muslim over another Muslim are 6. If you meet him, give him salams. If you meet him, give him salams. Abu Huraira used to go to the souk just to practice this hadith when Rasulullah told his companions, لا يدخل الجنة إلا مؤمن أفلا أنبئكم بشيء. He said, لن تدخلوا جنة حتى تؤمنوا ولن تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا أفلا أدلكم على شيء إذا فعلتموه تحاببتم قالوا بلى يا رسول الله قال افشوا السلام بينكم. You will not enter into Jannah until you have Iman, and you will not have Iman until you love each other. Should I not teach you something? If you did it, it would have forced the love between you. They said, what is it, Ya Rasulullah? He says, spread the salams between yourselves. Abu Huraira would go to the marketplace and he would say to everyone he met on the way, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum. Today, if we had a person who did that, people will make fun of him. They'll make istizah. They'll make fun and ridicule the individual. Oh, here he comes, here he comes. Abu, Assalamu alaikum, here he is. And all the man is trying to do is force the love between us. Ikhwan, I see some of you in the audience looking like Dhul Khawaisira like this. We don't want to offend anybody. You could come afterwards and I'll apologize. Lighten up. We're all brothers in here, inshallah. That's how Dhul Khawaisira was. He used to come to the people like that. Give some sadaqah, inshallah. So the salams, ikhwan, has some fiqh connected to it. From the ashrat of the sa'a is the salam will only be with the ma'rifah. We'll only give salams to the people we know. That's all. I give salams if I know you. If I don't know you, I don't give salams. If the shaykh comes, we'll give him salams. We won't give the other people salams. So it has a lot of fiqh. Who starts the salams? The young on the old, the standing on the sitter, and so forth and so on. Boycotting people and not giving salams, kuffar and salams, giving the woman in the street salams. It has a fiqh, deserves a khutbah, deserves a dars. Second thing from the huquq of the Muslims is if he invites you, answer the invitation. Even if you're sa'im, one of the shuyukh of the responsible people here, he invited us to his home. One of the brothers went and they put the spread out. The brother invited him to eat. He said, Ana sa'im. One of the brothers told him, then salli. He thought he meant to pray. Rasulullah said, if you were invited and you're fasting, then you should pray. You should answer the invitation and you should pray. But the prayer here is to make dua for the people. So even if you're fasting, you should answer the invitation. That's from his huquq. He cooks all of that food for you and you don't come. From the huquq, if he seeks your advice, give him advice. He wants your advice, give him the advice. But it's like being a judge. If it's not fardul ayn, be careful. Ya akhi, I need your advice. I have a wife, I've been married for 13 years. She's a good woman, but she burns the rice constantly. I have 6 children by her. I can't take it anymore. Ya akhi, divorce her. Find a woman who can cook very good. You don't want to give that kind of advice, and you don't want to ask someone who gives that kind of advice. Destroy your family over a bowl, a pot of rice. Number 4, if he sneezes and says, Alhamdulillah, we say, Yarhamakallah. If he sneezes and he doesn't say Alhamdulillah, we teach him, we let him know. If he doesn't say it, then we don't say Yarhamakallah. Even the Jews used to do this with Rasulullah. They used to sneeze so that he can say Yarhamakullah. But he used to say, Yuslihullah balakum. May Allah rectify your affairs. But he didn't say, Yarhamakallah. Number 5, if he becomes sick, then go and visit him. Ikhwan, this is something that, wallahi, an ibadah from al-Islam that we are negligent in, is visiting the sick and the rewards that come along with it for you, and as well in the recovery, inshaAllah, for the marid. When he has people coming to visit him, that puts him in the state of mind to get well. We can nurse our brother back to health with the dua. As'alallah Rabb al-Azim, As'alallah al-Azim, Rabb al-Arsh al-Azim, and yashfiyak. You say it 7 times, brother going to get well, inshallah. He can't get that without you coming, giving him ruqya with the Quran. Just your mere presence. In America, ikhwan, I don't know how it is here. I went to one hospital here when our brother Sarat Abdul Malik was sick. May Allah have mercy upon Sarat and put him in Jannah. I went to the hospital. Your hospital is not like our hospital. In our hospital, you have a room and there are 2 people and there's a curtain. Usually when no one's there, the curtain is open. You may talk to him, you may not talk to him. We find that the Muslim is in the room with his kafir partner. The kuffar come to visit their relative. They come in with balloons, they come in with fruit, they come in with candy, they come with dolls, cars. They close the curtain for privacy. And the Muslim is over there by himself, wondering, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. Where those brothers at in the masjid? Where they at? And it's so bad that the kafir, one of them opens the curtain and he says, "Could we borrow that extra chair you have over there?" And the Muslim is upset. Where are my brothers at? When the sister has a baby, where are the sisters at in helping her, cooking for her? In her country she comes from, Eritrea, Somalia. She comes from a Muslim country where when the woman has a baby, she becomes an amira because she gave us a new individual in our jama'ah. In the Muslim country, the woman, the Muslim woman, the Arab woman, she sits on the bed for 40 days with her legs up, eating mulukhiyah. For 40 days, she's just the amira, taking it easy. Her sisters, the neighborhood are taking care of her. Her husband brings her here. She gets married here. After having the baby, after the next day, the second day when she comes out of the hospital, she's in the kitchen cooking. 40 days in her country. After 2 days here, she has to start taking care of the newborn child and the other children. Where is visiting the sick? Finally, ikhwan, if he dies, we follow him. Which goes to show, even after death, the believer has huquq. Even when he's in the ground. When he's in the ground, Rasulullah said, "Kasru adhm al-mayt ka kasrihi wa huwa hayy." Breaking the bones of the dead person is like breaking his bones when he's alive. We can't make autopsies on the Muslims if there's no justified reason or cause. His body is an amana and it is haram. It has a hurma. Breaking his bone while he is dead is like breaking his bones while he is living. We go to the graveyards. We don't walk over the graves, on top of the graves. He said, "La tajlisu ala al-qubur wa la tusallu ilayha." Don't sit on top of people's graves and don't pray towards the graves. Don't use a grave as a sutra. They have huquq and they are in the graveyard. When we go to the graveyard, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ya ahlul. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's the dua again? Ahl al-diyar min al-muslimin wal-muslimat. إنكم سابقون ونحن لاحقوكم إن شاء الله نسأل الله لنا ولكم العافية. All of those ad'iyah of the dua for the ashab al-qubur, and that's in the grave. There are other rights, ikhwan, but these 6 come in this hadith. From the haqq of the Muslim on the Muslim is that we help each other, zalim or mazloom. There are a lot of rights. So we're going to stop here, inshallah. And I don't know, we went over the time, but I think that was the question and answer time, I believe. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.